you were a bit of a rough spot. But then you went on to close out the season with 6 wins in a row. You went 6-0 in the playoffs as well. What happened behind the scenes so you guys could go from losing 4 to now the best in NA?
Yeah, guys. What? What happened?
You guys can spill the dirty secrets.
We just took some time to realize that this was the best time for us to lose in the middle of the season rather than later in the season. And instead of like taking the losses like to heart, we actually really learned from them. And our coaching, not only did our coaching staff do a great job, but we as a team did a great job in like working together and working really hard these last couple weeks on just playing as a team and improving our biggest weaknesses. And I think it really showed.
Okay, yep.
Did being at the Garden and having Worlds on the line affect your prep at all? Was it distracting?
Well, we didn't really care too much about the third place match because like people might have expected us to care because if Tip had won, then we would have like an automatic spot to Worlds. But as soon as we figured out we made the Garden, I think all of us just stopped doing anything but practicing, and like all of us just focused 100% on learning and helping each other. But before, it might have been more like self-focused or self-reflective. We were all just like so intent on being the best team, which is like completely different than anything else I've seen us do. And yeah, everyone just put in a ton of work and it worked out.
Yep. You mentioned sort of generally improving on weaknesses. Was there anything in particular that afterward you were like, yes, we finally nailed that one?
Yeah, we had like a really hard time a while ago using our mid pressure because like Provolter is super good in lane and Smithy's really good at like finding out where their jungler is and just pressuring the map. But like for some reason we would never use that pressure to like they get an advantage, but they would never, or it would be really hard for them. I shouldn't say never. It'd be really hard for them to make like an impactful play. So we'd have a really hard time just like getting mid game leads or like playing as a team mid game. And after just like so many talks and like watching so many replays with the coaches and just doing this, we like really nailed it down in scrims, and then when we got on stage against TSM, we just did it so many times. I think like every game we made a 4 or 5 man play at some point, and it just all came together in the end.
Do you guys think Team Liquid's like definitely the third place for Worlds?
I think that C9's actually looking pretty strong right now, so I would say it's either between Team Liquid or C9.
Will you guys be camping in Korea this year?
Our coach is nodding yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
All right, so you guys are going to Worlds. So which team are you really looking forward to playing? Or who do you think will be your greatest competitor?
Okay, I'll go. I'm really excited to play versus LGD because I watched their mid laner a lot and he's really good, so it should be a good time.
I want to play against Fnatic because I think that's really cool. Like NA's best team versus EU's best team, and they just in the last set showed that they're like not undefeatable. So yeah, we can probably beat them. And then there's all this big circle jerk about EU being better than NA, and it'd be fun to beat them.
Finally answer the question.
Yeah.
Being that this was the first season with the championship points, how do you guys feel it went? Was there anything that you would like to see differently for next time, or?
Yeah, it didn't really matter that much to us because we just won through the summer split, and I guess it kind of helped TSM because even though they got second place, like since they did so well last split, they automatically go to Worlds, and I think it's good to reward teams that did better the previous split, but it didn't really make that much of a that big of a difference for us. So.
For Doublelift in particular, since you've been on this team for so many years, how does it feel to sort of get the monkey off your back, dismiss the curse forever?
Oh yeah. Oh man, it feels so good. It's like I had been daydreaming and like fantasizing in the shower. Like when I wake up, when I go to sleep, like I will just think about the time that like I finally win a big event like this, and when it finally happened, I was just like, my brain just shut off, and I was like, I don't know what to do anymore. Like, this is crazy. And yeah, it just feels really good. I don't know how to say it other than that, because I was so scared in the back of my mind. Like, what if I'm cursed? Like, what if I'll just never win anything? And no matter how hard I try, like, it'll never amount to that trophy. But just this experience made me realize, okay, like, all you have to do is put in a lot of work, like more work than anyone else that you're competing against, and you can just do it. Just never give up.
There'll be no more memes.
No more memes.
I don't know about that.
Probably more memes, to be honest.
All right, so often there's a lot of new patches coming out, in the middle of the season. So, and you rarely, you only have a short time to practice before you play competitively. So what are the difficulties, with that?
Well, with this patch in particular coming into Worlds, there's I think the most changes I've ever seen before a Worlds finals, just the end of the season. And I think that's basically going to allow teams to just come out with a lot of different strategies and a lot of blindsiding teams with completely different picks. And it just depends on how well teams adapt. And that's a part of League of Legends, the game changes, so teams die if they can't adapt.
Kind of spinning off that question, you always hear a lot of people say oh, this is a good patch for Cloud9, or this is a good patch for TSM. How do you feel the patch for playoffs was for you guys? Neutral.
Well, obviously pretty good. I don't know. I wouldn't say I wouldn't attribute our success to the patch, but it was pretty nice because Zion's really good at carry tops, and carry tops for a while were not that good. And then I think this is just a really balanced patch because all 5 members have to pull their own weight and have a lot of responsibility. And it was literally the exact time that we learned how to play as a team was when this kind of patch became the meta.
Speaking of carry top laners, Zion, there's been rumors that the Yasuo pick, and you've been playing a solo queue, was in the works for a while. You pulled out in the first game of such an important series. What told you that now was the correct time to play Yasuo?
I think my team and the coaching staff had confidence in my ability to play carries, and we knew it was the right situation. We'll always pick what's best for that scenario, and I'm not always going to play carries, but when I do, I'll make sure that I perform because my team has given me the chance to excel even further, so I don't want to disappoint them.
Yeah, it just seemed like you were very successful early in the game. Was that part of the plan, or did you see mistakes that you just capitalized on?
Yeah, it was definitely thanks to Afro and Smithy roaming up that I even got ahead in the first place, and that's what happens when you know who's the strongest person on your team. Your team helps them get ahead, and that's what all the best teams do in the other regions that teams in NA don't do as much. Is they know who they need to get strong, and they make that happen, and that's what we did.
Any final questions, guys?
I have another interesting one. So recently, drug screenings have been introduced to esports. So I wanted to ask, how do you guys feel about that, and how will that affect League of Legends?
No one wants to admit it.
Yeah.
I just realized how that sounds.
Okay, well, personally, I've never been on a team with anyone who's taken any performance-enhancing things. And I've been on a lot of teams, so I don't know, maybe they're taking it secretly, but I don't think it'll have too big of an impact on the league scene. I think it's a lot more prevalent in games like Counter-Strike, where the shaving off a few milliseconds is really clutch. But for League, I think it's a lot less useful, and so it's a lot less prevalent. I'm sure that there are some people out there who use things like Adderall, but I mean, personally, I don't think it'll affect me or anyone on my team, as far as I know.
Just one question for you guys. Can you just describe what it feels not to just win the LCS, but to win it here at Madison Square Garden, specifically knowing that this may be one of the more prominent esports events to ever happen?
Jake, why don't you go?
Yeah, Jake. What is that compelling Filipino answer?
Well, it's pretty surreal, especially with around 12,000 people watching. We try to take that out of our head, I guess, so that we can just play normally. And pretty much that's how we did. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we'll always remember for the rest of our lives, or at least for me, that I played Madison Square Garden and I won a championship in this game, and yeah, it's just something I'm never gonna forget. So I'm just really happy that I was able to be a part of this.
Oh yeah, when I'm old and nobody cares about me anymore, I'm gonna tell everyone who will listen that like I won a finals at Madison Square Garden.
Just one fun one. What are you guys gonna do to celebrate?
Sleep.
Eat and sleep.
Get ready for Worlds.
Do you have any advice for people that might want to pick up the game but haven't tried it before? If you could offer them one piece of advice, what would you tell them before they ever start playing?
Okay, I got one. You're going to be absolutely terrible when you start playing, so don't get mad at your teammates and just try and focus on improving yourself because you can always get better.